Good morning everyone. Welcome back to online classes of analog communication. I hope you have all seen the previous class where we have discussed about all the division of 3 chapters, and just we have seen the introduction part of your next chapter, that is your transmitters and receivers, right? So in today's class we'll just start the first topic of your 4th unit, that is your transmitters and receivers. I hope you all remember what is a transmitter and what is a receiver. Okay, let's just start. We'll just revise once again what is a transmitter. So I hope you all know what is a transmitter, right? So the transmitter that takes your information which is to be transmitted from one end to the another end, correct? So whatever the noise, whatever the message signal or whatever the data that has to be transmitted or that has to be sent, that is sent through a particular transmitter, and it converts your message signal to the electrical form, then it amplifies, then it modulates, then it is transmitted through a particular antenna, correct? So in this semester you people are also having AWP, antennas and wave propagations, where you will be seeing all different kinds of antenna, what are the basic requirements for that one. You might be knowing in detail about your antennas also. So here in analog communication, how this communication is going to be done, how your messages are modulated, how they are given or boosted up, and how they are transmitted, that all we will be seeing in analog communication. So the transmitter modulates a signal so that it can be transmitted over for a long distance communication. Now everything is based on communication, yes or no? You are talking to your relatives or friends outside the country, directly doing the video calls, you are getting the signals properly. This is all completely based on your communication only, yes. So this transmission process completely involves 3 basic steps that we have already discussed in the last class. First one is generation, then we are seeing modulation, then we are having the amplification, right? So what is the generation? Generation, you have to generate what are the message signal or the data what I am speaking up is my message signal. This cannot be directly listened by you people, correct? You can't receive directly what I am saying. It has to be transmitted, but it has to be first generated, means it has to be converted into electrical form, then it has to be modulated nothing but you have to add up your carrier frequency, then it has to be amplified, means it has to be boosted up, because it is a weak signal, you have to boost up. So all this is completely about your transmission part. So the transmission involves generation, modulation and amplification of your information signal, or you can also see it as message signal, correct? This is the block diagram of your particular transmitter that we have discussed in the last class. Your audio signal is nothing but my message, whatever I am speaking up. Preamplifier, we can give an example of your microphone which will be converting your message signal to electrical form. Then you will be having a modulator which adds or modulates your message signal and your carrier signal. RF oscillator is nothing but radio frequency oscillator which generates your carrier frequency. They both are mixed up, you get a modulated signal, and that is given to your power amplifier which boosts up the power of your particular signal, then it is given to the antenna, right? So we have seen the transmitters are classified into 3 types. The next topic, transmitters are based on your modulation used, means different types of modulation what you are using. Either it may be frequency modulation, either it may be amplitude modulation, or it may be a pulse modulation transmitters. It completely depends upon the modulations used. Then you are having the services used. Services used, nothing but whatever the radio broadcast you are using, or either you are using for telephones or a radio telegraph system for using. Either the transmitters may be different from television transmitters and radar transmitters, correct? For example, radio transmitters nothing but the radio FM what you are listening, that transmitter will be different from your television transmitters, and television transmitters will be different from radar transmitters. Radars nothing but your space communication, correct? GPS, GPRS, they're all for every different module or for every different service involved, depends completely on the application. Your transmitters will also be differing. And the third one is based upon the frequency ranges. We are having different kinds of frequencies, as you people are communication tab. So you will be knowing about the different frequencies what we are using. So we are based upon the frequency range, the transmitters are also be varying. For long wave transmitters, long wave means the transmitters will be operating frequencies below 300 kilohertz. Okay, wherever you require a transmitter whose frequency range is 300 kilohertz or less than 300 kilohertz, in that particular application or in that particular frequency, we will be going for your long wave transmitters. Clear? So this is about your long wave transmitters. Then when it comes to your medium wave transmitters, these medium wave transmitters operate on the frequency range that will be from 500 to 1650 kilohertz. Okay, this is mostly commonly referred for your broadcast band. Okay, wherever you are doing the broadcasting at that particular type, we will be using these medium wave transmitters. So the frequency range of your medium wave transmitters is 550 to 1650 kilohertz. Okay, I hope you people are remembering and noting it down. Please do note it down when I am saying about the frequency ranges of your transmitters based on your frequency. Correct? Long wave transmitters operate below or equals to 300 kilohertz. Then your medium wave is about 500 to 1650 kilohertz, and these are mostly used in broadcasting. Okay, these are now next comes to the short wave transmissions or the short wave transmitters. These transmitters will be operating in the range of 3 to 30 megahertz. 3 to 30 megahertz of frequency will be using. In particular applications or practically we can see 24 megahertz is used mostly, and these transmitters will be used for ionospheric propagation of electromagnetic waves. I'll repeat it once again. Mostly these shortwave transmitters will be having the frequency range of 3 to 30 megahertz, and mostly these are used in ionospheric propagation of electromagnetic waves that will be taking place in your shortwave transmitters. Clear? Now next one, you are having VHF and UHF. What is VHF and UHF? Very high frequency and ultra high frequencies. So this very high frequency range will be from 30 to 300 megahertz, or ultra high frequency range will be from 300 to 3000 megahertz. So these mainly this very high frequency and ultra high frequencies will be used in FM radios, in radio propagation and all. TV broadcast or television broadcast will be using this one, or telephony purpose or radio telephony purpose. In this particular applications we will be using this frequency UHF and VHF transmitters, right? And the last one you are having microwave transmitters, and the microwave transmitters frequencies will be above or more or equals to your 1000 megahertz, equals to or above your 1000 megahertz of frequencies. So these microwave transmitters where we will be using, where you require, or a particular application where it requires 1000 megahertz, and these are mainly used for your, where you will be using this 1000 megahertz, of course in your space communication, nothing but your radar communication, or for the radar television relay, or especially in microwave links between two adjoining countries. Now every country is having some links between, wireless links you are having. So at that particular transmitters or that particular applications, this microwave link between two adjoining countries or two adjoining islands or something like that. Okay, for the long distance communication will be preferring this microwave transmitters. So the frequency range or the frequency for your microwave transmitters will be 1000 megahertz. So this was the classification of your transmitters. So classification is of 3 types. For modulation based, you know what are the modulations. Then services based, what are the different services you are going to provide, either it is for radio or telephony or wireless or television or space or radar. It completely depends upon the services provided. And thirdly, depends upon the frequency range, either you are using short frequencies or the longer frequencies or ultra high frequencies, either microwave frequencies. That completely depends upon the particular application what you are using or the particular services that you are using. So I hope you are clear with the transmitters. Now we'll see the first one, the very first topic of your this chapter is AM transmitters, the amplitude modulated transmitters. Okay, these transmitters whose amplitude of the modulating signal modulates with the carrier signal is called your AM transmitter. Okay, what you are doing, the transmitters whose amplitude will be varying in accordance with your message signal. Modulating signal is nothing, your message signal that will be modulated with the carrier frequency or the carrier signal, that is called as your amplitude modulated transmitters. So these AM transmitters performs not only modulation but it also raises the power level of the modulated signal. Why? As to get the desired extent for your effective transmission. See, modulation is what transmitters has to do. I have told in the very first slide that it has to be amplified. Let's go back. Here see, after modulation we are giving it to a power amplifier. Why? We have to amplify, we have to boost up our modulated signal also. So these AM transmitters, what we will be doing, they will be amplifying, they'll be modulating. In which kind of modulation? AM modulation it does. Then AM transmitters will be performing not only the modulation but it also raises the power level of your modulated signal. So it is rising up your power level. Why? Because you have to get the desired extent of your effective transmission, to get a good transmission, to get a effective signal, a proper message signal without any distortions, that has to be transmitted to the receiver with all full message signal. It should not be distorted or your message should not be lost. So all this can be done by the transmitters. So it is not only modulating but it is also raising the power or power level of the modulated signal as to get the extensively effective transmission. So based on these power levels, these AM transmitters are classified into two types. First one is low level power modulation power transmitters. Second one is high level power transmitters. This is very important question. Either you may get a low level or high level, but compulsory for sure this year you will be getting for a long answers. Lower level power transmitters or high level power transmitters. These two are AM transmitters and these are classified based upon your power levels. Correct? So first we will see what is low level power transmitters. Fine. So this low level in this low level modulation, the generation of AM waves takes place in the initial stage of the amplification, that is at the lower power level. What you are saying in the name itself, what you are doing, we are using lower power, low powers. So the generated AM signal is then amplified by using number of amplifier stages. We'll see in the next slide what actually is done here in the low level power amplification. So this is, I have just taken the picture. So this is the low level power amplifier or the low level power transmitters, where you will be having, this is the block diagram. What we have said, first we are doing the low level amplification. Okay, this is done. After modulation you are doing low level amplification, this is done. Then afterwards what you will do, this generated AM signal is then amplified then by using number of amplifying stages. So for first initial stage what you are doing, you are modulating the signal. Okay, then afterwards you are giving for the boosting up. Correct? The generated AM signal means you have modulated already, you have mixed your carrier and message signal, then that is generating your AM signal. Then it is amplified by using number of amplifiers or the number of amplifying stages. The very first one you are having here, the master oscillator. Okay, this is the block diagram of your low level power amp transmitters, where you will be having a master oscillator, then you will be having a buffer amplifier, then a harmonic generator, then you are having a class C modulated amplifier, then class AB tuned amplifiers or the power amplifiers, then the transmitting antenna by using a feeder wires. Okay, now see what we have said, this is completely, this is your modulating signal where the voltage and the power they are being raised up of your message signal. Here this is the modulator. This is a modulator, this is a carrier. So these three blocks give you your carrier frequency and these two blocks are giving you message signal. So the carrier and the message, they both are mixed up, means modulation has done. then after modulation, then it is given for the power amplifiers, correct? Then after you are amplifying the modulated AM signal, or AM modulated signal is amplified, correct? This is the first part. So what is the very first thing what you are having? Master oscillator. What master oscillator is used? To generate your radio frequency carrier signal. Okay, now we can get a question, why we not using the crystal oscillator? We are using a master oscillator over here, yes or no? So this crystal, why we are not going for the crystal oscillator? Because it is having a drawback that crystal oscillator can provide only one frequency, and this frequency is constant. It means it cannot be changed. So we might be requiring different frequencies, okay, at the transmitting side. So what is the use of crystal oscillator? If you are using only one carrier frequency, okay, only one frequency range, so it is not useful. So that is a drawback. So that's the reason we are not using your crystal oscillator. Instead of that one, we will be going for your master oscillator. What master oscillator will be generating? It is giving your radio frequency carrier signal. And the drawback of your crystal oscillator is that it can provide only one single frequency, and that frequency cannot be changed. So that's the reason we will be moving for master oscillators. Then next part, you are having the buffer amplifiers. See, these are the blocks that are used both of your high level and low level transmitters, but the operation will be different. So before going in depth to your operation, first I will clearly tell what are the different blocks and what are the operation of that particular blocks. Fine, na? So first is the master oscillator. Then second, you are having the buffer amplifier. See, this buffer amplifier, if the crystal oscillator is directly, in case if you assume that in case if you are using the master oscillator that is directly driven to the harmonic generator, this one harmonic generator, or directly if you are giving it to the class C modulated amplifier or something, then what is the drawback? Which may draw the input current directly from the master oscillator to the your amplifier. So what actually happens, due to this one you will be having the frequency variation. I'll repeat it once again. Mainly this what is a buffer amplifier is used for low gain and for getting the high impedance. Okay, if you are not having this buffer amplifier, if you are directly giving this master oscillator to the harmonic generator or the class C amplifier, what happens? This class C amplifier which generates your carrier frequency, which will be having some power that is directly given to the amplifier. So due to all this one, so what happens here? Its effectiveness of the resistance will be changed, and hence it will be resulting in the frequency variations. So frequency variations will be done if you are not using the buffer amplifier. So what you have to do, the master oscillator and the harmonic generators, they both are placed side by side as for getting the isolation properly. Okay, so this changes in the carrier frequency due to variation in the loading can be avoided by using your buffer amplifier. I'll repeat it once again. By using the buffer amplifiers, we are not going to change the carrier frequency. Okay, so as to avoid these variations in the frequencies and have good and high impedance, we are using your buffer amplifier between your master oscillator as well as the harmonic generator. Okay, clear? Now see harmonic generator. Okay, usually this master oscillator generates the voltage at frequency which is equal to the carrier frequency, correct? But that frequency that is the frequency which will be related to your power. So the harmonic generators are nothing but an amplifiers in which the output of the radio frequency voltage is first distorted to class C operation, and then tuned circuit in the output circuit of the amplifier selects a desired harmonic frequency. You might not be getting, I'll repeat it. So first master oscillator, you have generated a carrier frequency. Buffer amplifier has to stop the buffering. simply, okay, as to stop the variation in the frequencies. Then harmonic generator is used particularly to get a selected frequency, okay. We require some particular desired frequency for a particular application. As to get that particular desired frequency, we will be using a harmonic generator, okay. You remember only this one, to get a selected frequency component or a desired frequency component according to your application, we are using the harmonic generator. Clear? Now we are going for the class C modulated amplifier. You can use any amplifier, but here we are using the class C amplifier. Fine. The power level which is required to rise up or to rise to the higher final voltage or the final current, we are using this class C amplifiers, okay. Why we are using this class C amplifiers also? Because these class C amplifiers output will be having 70% efficiency, 70% of good efficiency than that of your other amplifiers. So that's the reason we are using this class C amplifiers. These class C amplifiers can also be used in your harmonic generators also, okay. In few stages class C amplifiers can also act as your harmonic generators. So what class C amplifier is used? Okay, why we are using? Because whatever the power which we have generated by using your master oscillator, that is very small in terms of, for example, I give an example in terms of few watts only. So as to increase that power, we are using this class C powered amplifiers whose output circuit efficiency will be in order of 70%. So its efficiency is greater, so that's the reason we are going for this class C modulating amplifier. Then tuned amplifiers, we are also having class A, B tuned amplifiers as to get your output modulated signal, to raise your output modulated signal at a good extent as to get effective message signal, okay. Now see, we are having all these are voltage amplifiers. You know what is audio voltage and audio power amplifiers as to boost up your voltage and powers. Now when comes to the operation, I hope you are all clear with the blocks of your power transmitters. Now we let's see the operation of this one. So what we have said in low level power amplifiers, first message, this message signal and carrier signals will be modulated, then they are given to the tuned amplifiers, correct. Tuned power amplifier, here we are having the carrier frequency, this is message signal, they both are modulated, then they are given for the tuned amplifiers. Now see, the modulated amplifiers can be either it will completely I'll repeat it once again. So here the drawback in this your low level power amplifiers is that of lower efficiency. Why? Because the lower efficiency of the class B tuned amplifiers as compared to the class C amplifiers, we are having the lower efficiency in your class B amplifiers when compared to the class C amplifiers. So in this system, when you are continuing with this block or this system, class C amplifiers cannot be used faithfully to reproduce the modulated signal, which is consisting of your carrier signal and sideband frequencies components. That is nothing but sidebands. Okay, I'll repeat it once again. The drawback of this system is low efficiency. Why we are getting the low efficiency? Because this low efficiency of your class B amplifiers. Class B amplifiers are having low efficiency when compared to that of class C. So if you are using this class B amplifier which is of low frequency, so this class C amplifiers cannot be used further for reproducing the proper modulated signal what we have given. Okay, so as to overcome that one, we are going for the high level power amplifiers. So the amplifier, why? Because this will not be producing your carrier frequency and sidebands. If sidebands are not produced or if they are cut off, your message signal will be lost or it will be distorted. So the amplifier should possess the sufficient bandwidth to amplify these components equally. So in case if you are not having this, the class C amplifiers have narrow bandwidth which may cause sidebands cutting. As I have already said, if sidebands are cut, that may lead to the distortions. So as to overcome this limitation, we are using the high power level AM transmitters where carrier is amplified to the desired level before it is given to the amplification. Okay, what we are doing in this limitation, how this limitation can be overcome in the high level power amplifiers where carrier is amplified to the desired level before modulation itself, because we have to amplify our carrier signal first only, then afterwards we have to modulate that one. So this is how that limitation can be overcome. I'll repeat what is the drawback of your low level power transmitters. What here modulated signal is given to the tuned power amplifiers. So class B tuned power amplifier is having lower efficiency, so that cannot be amplifying your modulated signal up to that particular range. So this class, so what happens, this overload will be on your class C amplifiers, and due to that class C amplifiers cannot be reproducing your modulated signal faithfully for the long time. So what happens, it directly cuts, because class C will be having a narrow frequency band. So narrow frequency band, what happens, it will be cutting your side bands. If side bands are cutted, then you will be having some loss, then that loss will be getting some distortions. So due to that one we will be having this drawback. So as to remove that drawback, we are going for the next transmitter, that is high level power transmitters. So this is the how we are doing the high level power transmitters. What you are doing, first you are amplifying your carrier frequency, then afterwards you will be modulating. See, in high level transmissions, the power of the carrier and the modulating signals, the power and the modulating signals are amplified before applying them to the modulator stage. So master oscillator, which will be generating in your carrier frequencies, then buffer amplifier for stopping the frequency variations, then harmonic generator to select a particular frequency, then class C amplifier, power amplifier means it is amplifying your carrier frequency, then your modulating frequency is also amplified, means message signal is also amplified, carrier signal is also amplified. Now they are more given to the modulating stage. Okay, now modulated amplifier is used, then it is given to the feeder wires, through that it is given to the antenna. So as to overcome the drawback in the low level transmitters, we are going for the high level transmitters. Okay, this is very important question for your long answers. I hope you all have clearly understood. In case of any doubts, please let me know. And the one more last topic of your transmitters, of AM transmitters, is that using the negative feedback in AM transmitters. High level transmitters are clear, I think. Okay, you have to amplify your carrier frequency first, you have to amplify your modulating signal also, message signal, then afterwards you have to modulate, it should be given to the modulating state, then it is given to your transmitting antennas. Yeah. Due to that one, what happens, we will be getting the high gain and the efficiency will also be increased in high power level AM transmitters. Okay, hence we can have high gain. There we will be having low gain, so here we will be having high gain and efficiency will also be increased. Now let's see what is the negative feedback in low level transmitters. One more topic. So these amplifiers are used mainly in AM broadcast transmitters in view to improve the performance. Why we are going for the negative feedback in low level transmitters? We are having a feedback circuit. Same thing, we are having a feeder back. Okay, why we are going for the feedback circuit? Because as to improve overall performance of your system, we are using this feedback circuit. So the AM signal fed to the antenna should ideally have its envelope. This is very important. You are saying that you are modulating the signal, your message signal is having some envelope. That envelope has to be continued. So we have to see that particular envelope is there or not. So as to find that one, we are using this envelope detector as the feedback circuit for your low level power transmitters. And this is only used in case where there are 3 steps. See, this feedback circuit is only used if there is no distortions produced in your audio amplifiers. Okay, what are the audio amplifiers what you are using over here? If there is no distortion in that one, in the starting, in the initial state, Then second point, the modulation characteristics should be exactly linear. Means if there is no distortions, your characteristics will also be linear. That is the second important point. And the third important point, in case if you are using low level modulation, class AB tuned amplifier do not cause any distortion to the envelope. This is the third point. In case if these three are there, in that particular case only we are using these feedback transmitters. Correct? So these feedback transmitters, what we will be having? Same as the master oscillator, buffer amplifier, harmonic generator. Then you are giving it to the modulating amplifier. Here you will be having audio amplifier, voltage audio amplifier. This is for the message signal. Then it is given to the class C amplifiers. From here at the point A, the AM signal to be radiated is picked up from the point A. The AM modulated signal, amplitude modulated signal is picking up from the point A. Okay, and its envelope is extracted from that one. From this point, what you are extracting, ma? You are extracting the AM modulated or the modulated signal envelope, and that envelope is given to your envelope detector. Okay, see, I'll repeat it. Its envelope is extracted by using an envelope detector. Okay, and the DC component is removed as to obtain what an ideal situation should be there for getting your undistorted message signal. So in case if you are not having, see, this is your the envelope which we have got from this signal, AM signal. So what you are having? You are having distortions over here. So we are giving this distortions, distorted envelope to your envelope detector. This envelope detector is given to a summation circuit where you will be having a message signal, the original, the initial envelope of your message signal, that is given, and minus these envelope modulated. This is unmodulated message signal, this is modulated signal. So these both are fed to your feeder where it will be removing the distorted signal. Correct, ma? Then again you will be getting the proper envelope which is given to the power amplifier. From then again it is given to the modulated amplifier. Then again it is given to the power amplifiers. Lastly it is given to the antennas. I hope you are clear with this one. I'll repeat it. The undistorted message signal is then added to the output of the audio voltage amplifier in such a way that it subtracts from the voltage amplifier output circuit, which is envelope detector circuit, which is as shown. Okay, so this loop, which is the loop we are having, A, B, C, D, E, F. This particular loop will be acting as the feedback loop. Okay, I hope you are clear. This you are having the distortions. Okay, this is the modulated signal. Then your power is amplified. From A, what you are extracting, only the envelope is extracted, and that envelope is given to the your summation circuit. How you are extracting the envelope? By using the envelope detector. This envelope detector extracts the envelope of your modulated signal that is given to your feeder over here. This is the original message signal. Original message signal which is getting from your audio voltage amplifier. They both are given. So these distortions what are shown here lightly, that are subtracted, and you will be getting your proper envelope, and that is given to your modulated amplifier, then given to the transmitters. So this is how you will be removing the distortions which are occurred by using your envelopes. So I hope you are clear with the transmitters. So power AM transmitters are of two types depending upon the power levels, that are your low level and the high level transmitters. The drawback of your low level transmitter is that what you are doing, you are first modulating, then again you are amplifying. So due to that one, what you will be having, after some point your carrier plus some sidebands will be suppressed. If sidebands are suppressed, there may be a distortion, means your message will be lost. So as to overcome that one, we are going for the high level transmitters or high power level transmitters. What you are doing there, you are first amplifying your power carrier frequency and you are amplifying your message signal. Then after amplifying both the signals, you are modulating, then giving to your antennas. Then thirdly, next one is your negative feedback, where negative feedback is to find is there any error in your envelopes. If you are not having the proper envelope, of course you will be getting some distortions. As to get that one, we are using a feedback loop. So this is how you will be getting a proper we will be getting a message signal for getting ready a message signal without any distortions, which has to be transmitted. I hope you are clear with all this. In case of any doubts, please let me know, and do listen the classes carefully and give the attendance. So we'll close the class today here itself. Okay, thank you.